everyone, welcome to day 5 of Mrs. Lamprin's reading. We are going to continue on with our book, The One and Only Ivan. Today I will be reading pages 88 to 107. Remember to do the Quizlet. We're going to do Quizlet vocabulary set 3. You'll be doing that for a few days. And then we'll read the story and then you can do the comprehension quiz. So here are our vocabulary words for today. Intently, contemplating, mesmerized, addled, shrouded, forge, venture, amplify, sullen, thrilled, trudges, and gleaming. Okay, so go ahead and check out that Quizlet on the link to be able to do the vocabulary practice. Okay, so here we go. Treat. How's that foot, old girl? George asked Stella. Stella pokes her trunk between the bars. She inspects George's right shirt pocket for the treat he brings her every night without fail. George doesn't always bring me treats. Stella's his favorite, but I don't mind. She's my favorite, too. Stella sees that George's pocket is empty. She gives him a frustrated nudge with her trunk, and Julia giggles. Stella moves to George's left pocket to discover a carrot. Nimbly, she removes it. Mac walks past her. Toilet's plugged up in the men's bathroom, he says. Big mess. I'll take care of it, George sighs. Mac turns to leave. Before you go, Mac, George says, you might want to take a look at Stella's foot. I think it's infected again. Darn thing never does heal up right. Mac rubs his eyes. I'll keep an eye on it. Money's tight, though. Can't be calling the vet every time she sneezes. George strokes Stella's trunk. She inspects his pocket one more time, just in case. Sorry, girl, George says, as he watches Mac walk away. Elephant jokes. Ivan! Bob! I blink. The dawn sky is a smudge of gray flecked with pink. Like a picture drawn with 2 crayons, I can just make out Ruby in the shadows, waving hello with her trunk. Are you awake? She asks. We are now, says Bob. Aunt Stella still asleep, and I don't want to wake her, 'cause she said her foot is hurting, but I really, she paused for breath, really bored. Bob opens one eye. You know what I do when I'm bored? What? Ruby asks eagerly. Bob closes his eye. I sleep. It's a little early, Ruby, I say. I'm used to getting up early. Ruby wraps her trunk around one of the bars on her door. At my old circus, we always got up when it was still dark. And then we had breakfast, and we walked in a circle, and then they chained my feet up, and it really hurt. Ruby falls silent. Instantly, Bob is snoring. Ivan? She asks. Do you know any jokes? I especially like jokes about elephants. Well, let me see. I've heard Mac tell one once. I yawn. How can you tell that an elephant has been in the refrigerator? How? By the footprints in the butter. Ruby doesn't react. I sit up on my elbows, trying not to disturb Bob. Get it? What's a refrigerator? Ruby asks. It's a human thing, a cold box with a door. They put food inside. I put food in the door? They put food in a door? Or food in the box? And is it a big box? Ruby asks. Or is it a little box? I can see this is going to take a while, so I sit up all the way. Bob slides off grumbling. I reach for my pencil, the one I snapped in half with my teeth. Here, I say, I'll draw a picture of one. In the dim light, it takes me a minute to find a piece of paper Julia gave me. The page is a little damp and has a smear of something orange on it. I think it's from a tangerine. I try my best to make a refrigerator with the broken pencil, but it's not cooperating. But I do what I can. By the time I'm done, the first streaks of morning sun have appeared in flashy cartoon colors. I hold up my picture for Ruby to see. She studies it intently. Her head turns so that one black eye is trained on my drawing. Wow, you made that? Is this the thing you were telling me about before? Art? Sure is. I can draw all kinds of things. I'm especially good at fruit. Could you draw a banana right now? Ruby asks. Absolutely. I turn the paper over and sketch. Wow, Ruby says, again in an odd voice when I hold the page up. It looks good enough to eat. She makes a happy she makes a happy littling lilting sound, an elephant laugh. It's like a song of a bird I recall from long ago, a tiny yellow bird with a voice like dancing water. Strange, I'd forgotten all about that bird. How she'd wake me every morning at dawn when I was still curled safely in my mother's nest. It's a good feeling making Ruby laugh, so I draw another picture and another along the edges of the paper. An orange, a candy bar, a carrot. What are you two up to? Stella asks, moaning as she tries to move her sore foot. How are you this morning? I ask. Just feeling my age, Stella says. I'm fine. Ivan's making me pictures, Ruby says. And he told me a joke. I really like Ivan, Aunt Stella. Stella winks at me. Me too, she says. Ivan, want to hear my favorite joke? Ruby asks. I heard it from Maggie. She's one of the giraffes in the old circus. Sure, I say. It goes like this. Ruby clears her throat. What do what do elephants have that nothing else has? Trunks, I think, but I don't answer because I don't want to ruin Ruby's fun. I don't know, Ruby, I reply. What do elephants have that nothing else has? Baby elephants, Ruby says. Good one, Ruby, I say, watching Stella stroke Ruby's back with her trunk. Good one, Stella says softly. Children. Once I asked Stella if she'd ever had any babies. She shook her head. I never had the opportunity. You would have made a great mother, I told her. Thank you, Ivan, Stella said, clearly pleased. I like to think so. Having young ones is a big responsibility. You have to teach them how to take mud baths, of course, and emphasize the importance of fiber in their diet. She looked away, contemplating. Elephants are excellent at contemplating. I think the hardest part of being a parent, Stella added after a while, would be keeping your babies safe from harm, protecting them. The way silverbacks do in the jungle, I said. Exactly, Stella nodded. You would have been good at protecting too, I said confidently. I'm not so sure, Stella said, gazing at the iron bars surrounding her. I'm not sure at all. Parking lot. Mac and George are chatting while George cleans one of my windows. George, Mac says, frowning, there's something wrong with the parking lot. George sighs. I'll take a look as soon as I'm done with the windows. What's the problem? There are cars in it. That's what's wrong. Cars, George. Mac breaks into a grin. I think things are actually starting to pick up a bit. It's gotta be the billboard. People see that baby elephant and they just have to stop and spend their hard-earned cash. I hope so, George says. We sure could use the business. Mac's right. I have noticed more visitors coming since he and George added the picture of Ruby to the sign. People crowd around Ruby and Stella's domain, oohing and awing at the sight of such a tiny elephant. I gaze out at the huge sign that makes humans stop and spend their hard-earned cash. I have to admit that the picture of Ruby is rather cute, even if she doesn't look like a real elephant. I wonder if Mac could add a little red hat and curly tail to the picture of me. Maybe then more visitors would stop by my domain. I could use a few oohs and ahs myself. Ruby's story. Ivan, tell me another joke, please. Ruby begs after the 2 o'clock show. I think I have run out of jokes, I admit. A story then, Ruby says. Aunt Stella's sleeping, and there's nothing to do. I tap my chin. I'm trying hard to think, but when I gaze up at the food court skylight, I'm mesmerized by the elephant-colored clouds galloping past. Ruby taps her foot impatiently. I know. I'll tell you a story, she says. A real, live, true one. Good idea, I say. What's it about? It's about me. She lowers her voice. It's about me and how I fell into a hole. A big hole. Humans dug it. Bob pricks his ears, and joins me by the window. I always enjoy a good story, he says. It was a big hole full of water near our village, Ruby says. I don't know why the humans made it. Sometimes you just need to dig for the sake of digging, Bob reflects. We were looking for food, Ruby says, my family and I, but I wandered off, and I got lost, and went too close to the village. Ruby looks at me, eyes wide. I was so scared when I fell into the hole. Of course you were, I say. I would have been scared too. Me too, Bob admits. And I like holes. The hole was huge. Ruby pokes her trunk between the bars and makes a circle in the air. Guess what? She doesn't wait for an answer. The water was all the way up to my neck, and I was sure I was going to die. I shuddered. What happened then? I asked. I'll tell you what happened, Bob says darkly. They captured her and put her in a box and shipped her off, and here she is, just like they did with Stella. He pauses to scratch his ear. Rats have bigger hearts. Roaches have kinder souls. Flies have... No, Bob, Ruby interrupts. You're wrong. These humans helped me. When they saw I was trapped, they grabbed ropes and they made loops around my neck and my tummy. The whole entire village helped me, even little kids and grandmas and grandpas. And they all pulled and pulled and... Ruby stops. Her lashes are wet, and I know she must be remembering all the terrifying feelings from that day. And they saved me, she finishes in a whisper. Bob blinks. They saved you? He repeated. When I was finally out, everyone cheered, Ruby said, and the children fed me fruit, and then all those humans led me back to my family. It took the whole day to find them. No way, Bob says, still doubtful. It's true, Ruby says. Every word. Of course it's true, I say. I've heard rescue stories like that before. It's Stella's voice. She sounds weary. Slowly she makes her way over to Ruby. Humans can surprise you sometimes. An unpredictable species. Homo sapiens. Bob still looks unconvinced. But Ruby's here now, he points out. If humans are so well, who did that to her? I send Bob a grumpy look. Sometimes he doesn't know when to keep quiet. Ruby swallows. I'm afraid she's going to cry. But when she speaks, her voice is strong. Bad humans killed my family, and bad humans sent me here. But that day in the hole, it was humans who saved me. Ruby leans her head on Stella's shoulder. Those humans were good. It doesn't make any sense, Bob says. I just don't understand them. I never will. You're not alone, I say, and I turn my gaze back to the racing gray clouds. A bit. Stella's foot hurts too much for her to do any hard tricks for the 2:00 show. Instead, Mac pulls her, limping, into the ring where she tracks in a circle in the sawdust. Ruby clings to her like a shadow. Ruby's eyes go wide when Snicker jumps on Stella's back, then leaps onto her head. At the 4:00 show, Stella can only get as far as the entrance of the ring. Ruby refuses to leave her side. At the 7:00 show, Stella stays in her domain. When Mac comes for Ruby, Stella whispers something in her ear. Ruby looks at her pleadingly, but after a moment she follows Mac to the ring. Ruby stands alone. The bright lights make her blink. She flaps her ears. She makes tiny trumpet sounds. The humans stop eating their popcorn. They coo. They clap. Ruby is a hit. I don't know whether to be happy or sad. That's where we're going to stop today. I hope you've enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing your responses. Have a great day. Bye-bye.